What's going on, golf addicts? DB with the Tour Junkies. This is Tour Junkies After Dark, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. And I'm solo tonight, all right? Pat is off doing party stuff for the Georgia Bulldogs game. Obviously, we're geared up for the Dogs. Don't know what happened when you're watching this video, but I'm willing to bet the Dogs took care of business, okay? And you know who didn't take care of business last week is Colin Morikawa. We almost had our very first winner on the first show of 2023 as Pat was all over Morikawa at 20-1. Dude had a 9-shot lead after his first hole last week. 9 shots, lost to John Rahm at plus 650. That sucks. We hate that in this business, okay? We want the longer numbers to win, the bigger numbers to win. Didn't happen. Oh, well, John Rahm's a stud. We move on. It's the Sony Open in Hawaii. It's the 25th year we've seen the Sony Open here at Waialae Country Club. We know a lot about this place, but what we really just need to know is any type of golfer can win. You can be a bomber. You can be a shorter hitter. But you got to do a couple things. You have to make a couple things happen. That is, you have to hit the ball as close as possible on these smaller to average size greens, a lot smaller than the greens we saw at Kapalua last week. They're a lot flatter than the greens we saw at Kapalua. Not as much nuance or tricks to them, trickery, wizardry, and you got to make some putts, right? That's what it's going to come down to. It's one of those courses. You hear us say this all the time. It's one of those courses where guys tend to hit it to the same place off the tee. And then from there, it's like an iron wedge contest / putting contest. Those tournaments pop up from time to time on the PGA Tour, and this is one of them here at Waialae. So that's really what we're looking at. 8 of the last 9 winners at this event have come from, have played the Kapalua event, the Tournament of Champions the year before. Something to take note of. And we haven't really seen a whole lot of triple-digit bombs win this thing. Fabian Gomez, who I famously hit in 2016, we were doing this show. Now going on year 8, thank you. You see the gray in the beard. Fabian Gomez was the last triple-digit bomb to win this thing in 2016. You're going to see this here in a second. I'm really living in this middle range. So let's get to it. Let's talk about some short numbers, and we got to start with Tom Kim. And he's 12-1, and normally I never bet the top guy on the board because most of the time the top guy on the board is a single-digit number. But 12-1, I'll take it. Tom Kim is that freaking good. This kid's irons are so good. He reminds me of Colin Morikawa in his rookie season. When he came out, he didn't hit the ball super far. He wasn't super flashy, but his irons were so unbelievably good and better than everyone else. He just hit it so much closer than everybody else. The kid is not intimidated. He just went to the Tournament of Champions. I think he finished top 5 or whatever it was he did. He finished T5. He's not scared. 12-1. We may as well. Parlay that with the Dogs money line or something if you can watch. Well, you're not going to be able to watch this in time. I don't know. Parlay it with some NFL game you feel really good about and juice it up a bit. But I think we got to start with Tom Kim. I think we're crazy not to. And then I'm going to get into this middle section because other than Tom Kim, I'm good skipping the rest of the top of the board. I'm going to Keith Mitchell at 35-1. Killer Keith Mitchell. A Georgia Bulldog, the Georgia Bulldogs know how to play. Great record at the Sony. 7th, 14th, missed cut, 16th his last 4 years. Guess what? The missed cut, see, Keith Mitchell really bucks the trend in terms of playing well here. The missed cut year at the Sony was the 1 year he played the Tournament of Champions in Kapalua the week before. The years that he didn't get into the Tournament of Champions, he finished 16th, 14th, and 7th last year. Loves Bermuda. Good ball striker. I like Keith Mitchell at 35-1. And then this is where I get real saucy. I'm peppering the middle here. It's going to start off with JT Poston and a trio of guys here at 50-1. JT Poston, Emiliano Grillo, and Andrew Putnam. Now, JT's the only guy that played in the Tournament of Champions last week. Did okay. Made a bunch of birdies, kind of shook the rust off. Great putter. We know he can get hot with the putter. And usually a decent total driver of the golf ball. I'll take JT here at 50-1. Also, multiple-time PGA Tour winner. That matters when it comes to closing the door here. Emiliano Grillo, looking for that elusive second PGA Tour victory. His first one came years ago, right? But what's been intriguing about him is he's gone as the guy who everyone's made fun of for years that can't putt to now a guy who all of a sudden has found the putter. And his fall was very interesting to see. And when I say his fall, I mean like the fall of 2022. The putter seems to be really clicking for Emiliano Grillo. And the ball striking always being what it has, that's solid. And then right there next to him is Andrew Putnam at 50-1. You talk about a guy who had an electric summer and fall. Andrew Putnam seems to have taken, gotten to a new level, especially when it comes to the iron play. Always been a decent short game player, very accurate off the tee, short hitter. And he's had some peak finishes here, I believe, including a runner up, if I remember. Yeah, runner up in 2019, T27 here last year. He's 50-1. I like that trio there sitting at 50-1. And then I'm going to go down to Adam Svensson at 70-1. We just saw Adam Svensson win his first PGA Tour event back in November at the RSM Classic. Now, did he play well last week at Kapalua? Absolutely not. But along with that Kapalua trend, what we've seen is you don't necessarily have to play well at Kapalua to play well or win the Sony. You just have to be there. And a lot of that does involve, shaking the rust off, getting the travel to Hawaii out of the way, getting all the family time and the fun time out of the way in that early part of that first week or so. Then you come here to Sony, you start feeling it, shaking the rust off, taking care of business. Adam Svensson at 71 is interesting. And then I really only have one bomb. Because, like I said, only one triple digit has won this thing since 2016, Fabian Gomez. I'm going with the young guy, Ben Griffin, 150-1. We've had Ben on the podcast before, the Tour Junkies podcast. Loves shorter courses, great short game, comfortable on Bermuda. And we saw him play very well in the fall, including a near victory in one of his first starts. He kind of collapsed it on the back nine on Sunday, which I believe he probably learned a lot from that, as most guys would say they do. 150-1 is just too good for a guy who had that great of a fall. And we know this kid can go low. And this is going to be a birdie fest. Your winning score is going to be near that 23 under mark. There looks to be very little wind. Conditions look perfect, just like last week at Kapalua, no wind. And that is the defense of Waialae Country Club. And this kid can go low. Course record holder 58 at one of the Sea Island courses in South Georgia. That is going low. So those are my outright selections. Let's talk top 20s for this event. I'll start at the top. I don't usually like to get into my top 20s until we're talking plus numbers because, I'm a man, okay? I'm not going to bet a guy at a minus number. So the first couple lock top 20s that I see would be KH Lee at longer top 20s. KH Lee at plus 170 and Keith Mitchell at plus 175. I talked about Keith Mitchell. KH Lee, another one coming off of a tournament at Kapalua just this past week, and also a guy who's won twice at a tournament where 26 under wins. KH Lee can go low. He can go really low when he's on. I like it. I mentioned JT Poston. He's at plus 210. Adam Svensson's at plus 275. Ben Griffin at plus 500. But I do have a couple names I didn't mention in outrights because I don't know that they're going to actually win. I don't think they can win, but I think they could be decent long shot top 20s. That's Russell Knox and David Lipsky. Russell Knox is 4-1. David Lipsky is plus 450. Knox, really good iron player, always has been really, but he can't get the putter going. But again, a little like Emiliano Grillo, in the fall, if you pay attention, seemingly figured something out with the putter. So we'll see if that keeps rolling for Russell Knox. If the putter is clicking, watch out. I think a top 20 is for sure in the cards for him. And then David Lipsky's just kind of a grindy guy. He's just kind of a grindy, plays well on these shorter courses. Good little short game on David Lipsky. I don't know. He's like like Danny Woodhead when he was playing the NFL. It's just grimy, just get in there and get my hands dirty. I'm not afraid of anything, but I've got my little skill set I'm good at, my package you run for me, and I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make it happen. That's kind of David Lipsky. So I like those guys. Those are some bomb top 20s because you know what? You don't need me. You don't need me to tell you, oh yeah, bet Hideki at plus 100, the defending champion. You don't need me to tell you to do that. Why do you need me? Why would you watch the video if that's what people are telling you? Who cares? The best players in the world, and it's golf. It's highly variable. Just do what you want to do up top. You listen to me or guys like me or Pat Mayo or whatever for the other stuff, for the long shots, for the guys that you don't want to do the research on because you don't know who they are. It could be your CPA down the street for all you know. I mean, you don't know. You don't know who Ben Taylor is or Carl Wan. Carl could be the GM at the Publix down the street. You don't know. So that's why you need guys like me. You don't need guys like me to tell you Sung Jae and Hideki. Give me a break. All right. That's it for us or me. We'll be back next week. More action, more PJ Tour action. Make your screens be green. Let's make DraftKings pay this week. See ya.